Hey, before we dive into today's episode, I've got some exciting news for you. And one of the things that I love that this month we are talking all about vision. So we are going to dive into what a vision is, why we need it, how to expand it, and how having a clear vision will help our life, help our impact, it helps our family. God God has in his word, as King Solomon said, without vision, people perish. And having a vision just elevates everything around us. Well, one of the things that I had on my vision board, and the things that one of my dreams is to become a published author. And as of, well, it'll be at least one day by the time this episode airs, but I am now a published author, and I would love for you to go and check out my new book. It's called Breaking the Silence: Voices of Survivors, Volume 2. This is a collaborative book. These stories, they're multiple authors who just have stories of hope and triumph against adversity, like many of your stories as well. So I would encourage you to go get a copy for yourself. Take a picture of you with the book and tag me on Instagram so I can see and let me know what you think. And then just allow it to motivate you to make a bigger impact, to take your dreams and turn them into visions and then make them, like, take the action steps to make them reality. The direct link is in the show notes, but with that, let's dive in. Hey, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast, the podcast for women who are done stressing about the weight of the world, of expectations and settling for status quo, and ready to step into the full weight of joy. Joy in the journey, whether up or down, joy through the life's challenges, and joy in loving your life right where you are, even though sometimes we feel like chucking it all and moving to Bali. It's for women who are ready to step into who God called them to be. He chose you to be in this world. He created you for a specific purpose. God called us to be the light on a hill, and by embracing who you are and whose you are, you can stand on that hill and shine. The best part, when you're standing next to another woman who's also on the journey, the world gets brighter. My name is Tammy. I'm your host and a master certified life coach and a trained therapist. For over a decade, I've been helping women do just that. Step into who they're called to be and shine. Are you ready, friend, to start your journey? Let's do this. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited you're here. It is October, and we are talking about vision, and not just what we see, but also, like, there's so much, like, depth to vision. There's so many things. Like, did you know that our vision, our eyes are actually the first sense that's connected to our brain. So it is the strongest. And so a lot of times, you know how when you are in a dark room, your other senses start elevating. I've even heard this, like, what is it? I don't know what it's called, but it's like those eating experiences where you eat in the dark. So all the waiters and waitresses have night vision. You don't know what you're eating, but it elevates and enhances the other senses. But one thing is, when we have a clear vision, when we see the direction we're going, even if we don't know how we're going to get there. That's the thing about vision too, is we have this, we see what we want, but as we take action, as we start moving forward, as we gaining momentum, and as we start growing and transforming to step into who we're called to be, our vision may change over time. I know that my vision has changed over the last 5 years. I've been in business for almost 5 years now, or we're pushing 5 years. And my vision when I first started it was so different than it is now. And I'm here for it. Like, I'm good with it. And seeing how, if I didn't have that first vision, I wouldn't be where I am today. The vision that I had 10 years ago, before I even decided that I was going to be a coach, or decided I was going to be a speaker, I had this dream in my heart to speak on stage, which I shared, that it was like, I didn't want to tell people about it because it was so on me. Like, I was terrified of public speaking. And to the point where I would do whatever I needed to do to get out of it, like even be behind the camera and be the one who volunteers to lights and sound and everything, which I did learn a lot about vision about the what goes behind the scenes in the production of someone speaking. So I'm so thankful for that. But again, this vision that we hold gets to be our motivation, gets to be our driving factor. And so I thought it would be fun that this and it was actually harder than I thought to come up with these, but I'm pretty proud of this. Like I created an acrostic. Yeah, it's called an acrostic for vision that we can use because October is we're going to talk about vision. Like I don't want you to get bored with it. So stick with the podcast. Like I'm going to change it up. I have some really cool things that how we'll talk about it and things. So stick with me. I'm not going to repeat myself over and over. But when I realized, when I was looking at what I wanted to talk about for October, when I started thinking about what changes did I make, what benefited me, is I realized that when I first started, I had such a limited vision. And when I talk with my clients, they have, and it's no fault of your own. Like, this is not anything to be felt guilty or shameful or blaming. It's natural because our brains want to keep us safe. And if we want to be successful in however you choose to define success, then we've got to expand this vision. And so this whole month, I want to, whether you're working with me or not, if you're just connecting with me over the podcast and over social media, like you can still expand your vision with this. And if you want to go deeper, this is when reach out to me and let's create your vision. Let's create your goals, your dreams, your vision. Like let's get it on paper and see what happens after that. So that, like, if you are ready for it, like we have the Vision Lab coming, but it's also, if you want to take it a step further and say, Tammy, I want my vision and I don't want to walk through this alone. We can do this together. One-on-one, you and I. Like this is part of what I love to do, because when a vision is expanded and someone starts talking about the dream that God put on their heart, all of a sudden, like a new life comes. And so let's talk this podcast. I'm just going to talk about this acrostic that I want you to keep in the back of your mind. I want you to write down, and I want you to consider when you are dreaming, when you're thinking about your vision, and when as you're taking this idea, this like small voice deep in your knower, and you're ready to talk about it. You're ready to maybe not talk about it, but explore it a little bit. You're ready to acknowledge it and start to dream about it a little bit. So let's dive in. So first is V, values driven. So your vision must be rooted in you. It must be rooted in your core values, in your priorities, in your dream. And because it guides every action that you take. When you have this vision, I like to think of vision as like a lighthouse. So you build a lighthouse before the storm, right? Have you ever been to been in a lighthouse? It's a really cool experience. First, you got to walk up a million stairs, but then when you get up to the top of this lighthouse, and the light on it is not very big. Like you would think it would be much bigger, but in a storm, the light does its job. Like it shines, but you have to build the lighthouse before the storm. You have to build the lighthouse before the boat gets on the water, or it's going to need that direction. And so think of your vision as the lighthouse. And so this values driven for V, it's values driven. Your values, not my values, not Susan down the street's values, not your parents' values. It's important to get clear on your values. And so the next one is intentional action. Focus on taking purposeful steps, intentional steps, like choosing your direction based on your vision, based on your goals, your dreams, like what you want for your life. And so like align it with your long-term goals, not just like doing the tasks at hand. Like I'm talking about like, let's cast the vision and let's look further than what's right in front of us. And so I is intentional action. So the S is strategic focus. Oh man. So I have a block of time. Typically I try to get at least 3 times a week that I call focus time. And I define on Mondays, typically. I'm actually going to switch to Fridays for the next week, but that's a whole nother story. I am going, on Mondays, I look at my calendar I look at my focus blocks that are typically about 90 minutes, and then I decide what one thing are those 3 blocks going to be. Now, I may take that one thing and break it into 3, so it's like 30-minute sections, but it's all towards one goal. Because when I strategically focus, that's when like magic happens. That's when I make the most progress. I can get more done in that 90 minutes than if I just try to do things all day. And being a mom and being a partner and being a friend and having, volunteering at the church, there's other hats that I wear that I need that focus time so that way I can get the things that matter towards my vision done. So then I have the flexibility for other things as well. And so when the wind blows and I have something else grab my attention, I don't have to feel guilty because I have that on my time block. I have that on my calendar and I've done the most important work towards moving the needle, moving my mission, moving my movement, moving towards my goals. So that strategic focus, by keeping a clear and focused strategy, we get closer and closer to the vision that we have. And again, if we start acting and then we decide that, oh man, my vision has shifted based on this new information, that's okay too. But we wouldn't have gotten there if we didn't take that strategic focused action. The next is inspiration. God made us creative, whether you feel like a creative or not. And there's so much joy in inspiration and creativity. And so the second eye is inspiration. It should not only inspire you to stay focused and take action, but it should fuel you. So like this inspiration for what it could be, what happens when you reach this vision and expanding that. What happens when you have an issue and you have to come up with a creative solution, that inspiration to keep going. I shared a few weeks ago or a few podcasts ago about my hater and how that when I reread my vision, when my coach had me reread my vision, it snapped me out of it. And then all of a sudden I was focused again. I needed that inspiration that I wrote into my vision. So now, outcome oriented. So we are taking action towards an outcome. We do want our goals. Now, we may not know exactly what the outcome is, but we have to work towards something in order to keep going, right? We can't just start like throwing spaghetti. So, and even in the storm, the lighthouse, like the light spins, but it is the destination. Our vision is our destination. So we may be coming from a different direction. We may have gotten pushed off course, but when we see that beacon of light, then we're able to readdress, to redirect. We're able to get back on course or chart a new path to get to our outcome. So we do need to be outcome oriented and stay committed to our desired results. Again, I love the fact that as you go, like we have the freedom to shift, to change, to transform as we grow and as we transform, as God gives us more information, as we see the direction we're going, we get clarity. And so, but knowing that every action we take brings us closer to our outcome, that also helps us stay focused on the mission, on our vision. And so in N, finally, the navigation. So this lets our vision, it serves as our compass. And I have a podcast coming up that I'm excited about. I created this like compass rose of what it takes to have an impactful business and how we can use it as a way to stay focused. And I have vision as the east marker, and it's because it guides us through our challenges. Now I have you think, well, wouldn't that be our north? And our north is our why. That's our purpose. Okay, but our vision and our purpose are two different things. The vision is what is the outcome of the purpose we have, like what comes from it. And so, and just let your vision navigate you. Let it guide you through challenges. Let it help you create the strategic actions. Let it help inspire you when your life seems uninspired, or when the momentum is uninspired, or we're not seeing the results like we thought we would. Because let me just be honest, being an entrepreneur is hard. It's sometimes lonely. But it doesn't have to be so lonely and so hard that you get stuck and you give up. I truly believe that if this has been put inside your heart, that there is a beautiful vision, a beautiful outcome there for you. But we have to create this vision in order to stay focused and stay the course even when it gets challenging. All right, so that's what I have for you today. Okay, so as we are teasing out this whole vision concept. So just to recap, V is values driven, I is intentional action, S is strategic focus, I is inspiration, O is outcome oriented, and N is navigation. We need a vision, and we need a vision that's bigger than ourselves. We need a vision that comes to life and that is vivid and that has legs to it. We need to have details, and we have to have, we need to show our brain what's possible. And a vision does this. And so as you are considering this, and as you hopefully that you are getting inspired and creating this vision again, we need to have a personal vision. We need to have a family vision. I have a vision for my relationship with my kids, like what I want when they're adults. And I know that I have to make hard decisions now, like turning off Wi-Fi at 10 o'clock, which of course that makes me the meanest mom in the world. If you held that title before, know that I have earned it now. I'm given that title every night when my kids tell me that I'm the only mom in the whole world that limits electronics. So if I'm not the only one, let me know so we can commiserate together and know that. So sometimes this vision, my point is like, it's not, we have to make those hard choices, but we know that the outcome that we're heading towards is worth it. I know that the character of my kids and the relationship with them hinges on really it's self-control and how they use their time and how they're being developed and how they can communicate with people. And electronics doesn't align with that. So I get to turn that off. And so vision, it can go into so many aspects of our life. And without vision, people perish. I don't want your life I don't want you to have regrets. I don't want you to have regrets. I don't want you to get to the end of your life and wish. How many things have already been on your heart that you're wishing would have happened? A vision will help it come to life. Now, we can create a vision before we know your purpose, before we know your why. We can create a vision that will drive us and inspire us to take action. All right, friend. With that, stay tuned. If you want to be a part of the Vision Lab, connect with me. If you want to do the one-on-one, I am opening up a few spots. I'm not taking any long-term one-on-one clients right now. I'm booked out, but what I'm doing is I have some spots for some one-time one-on-one. We create your vision. If that interests you, reach out to me. I will put a link for that. We'll talk. We will connect. We'll see if that's right for you, and then we'll go for it. And because I know that my life started changing when I started to create a vision, when I started to dream, and I started to expand it more than what it was before, when I started to look beyond what's possible. And I look at my life now and know it's not exactly how I envisioned. There's other people involved that aren't falling in line, right? My kids make it difficult for me to have the ideal vision. But I know that I have a beautiful life and I have so much to be grateful for. And I know that the vision that I held for myself when things were tough, when I was just starting out, even creating a vision when I didn't know how to after my husband died, that helped shape my future. It helps give me an anchor. It was my lighthouse that kept me focused on the bigger picture. It helped me focus on the life that was in front of me instead of the loss that I had experienced. So with that, friend, start exploring this idea of vision. And I can't wait to connect with you. I can't wait to hear about your vision. Send me a DM when you write your vision. Send me a DM. And if you want help writing it, or if you want to do it together in this Vision Lab, you're like, Tammy, I have an idea of what it is, but I want an expanded vision. Let's do this together in the Vision Lab. All right, friend, with this, I'm going to go. It's time to make dinner. So I'm going to put on my mom hat and I'm going to go and do that now. I am so grateful that you're here. If you have not left me a rating and review, please consider doing that. It takes 30 seconds and it helps me. It helps the algorithm, the authorities at B, let people know that you value this podcast. And if you have a friend who you know would benefit from this topic, from this podcast, can you please share it? And then if you let me know, send it, put it on your stories and tag me. I would love to reshare that. Tag me on Instagram or in LinkedIn and let's shine together. All right, friend, with that, I will talk to you soon. I hope you have a beautiful week and start creating that vision. All right, with that, choose joy till joy chooses you. Bye for now.